One thing I want to comment on that is that amount of money that goes, to the military. Yet when the soldiers come back,
Yeah.
very little of that money goes to assist them, which is really, to me, the sad thing about it.
Yes.
Well, this month is the theme is on beauty, nature, art, and the aesthetics. And this week's theme was that we see a world where there's a continuous, generous sharing of resources. And I started off with that this week, and I go, you know what? I don't need all the other stuff. It's just generously sharing. I mean, and really, I looked up the certain words I want to say. What do they mean by generous? And it says freely giving or sharing money or other valuable things. And our resources. What are our resources? Everything is a resource. I mean, what you did over there, you are a resource. We are resources. I mean, the love, the care, everything is. It's not just money and structures and all that. Everything is a resource. And to me, it's like this thing on there is when we generously, if we could talk, share. That's doing it without expectations. I'm going to do this so that I get this back, or it makes me look good, or I'll score points with somebody here or here. But when you're generally doing it from the heart and from the desire to do that, to share something you have. And some of us have an overabundance of some things. Some have an overabundance of other things. Some of us don't have an overabundance of much. But like in the Bible, the one thing in the Bible was the woman that always got me, that she gave, I think it was a penny or 3 pennies, and they said, it's not what she gave, it's where it came from. And to me, that's what really counts. I see a lot of the bigger churches, or even some of the smaller ones, have these drives every year, tied to pledge campaigns. And sometimes it's irritated me in the past when they focus so much on the amount you have to give or should give and this and that, because sometimes there's people that don't have it, yet they give what they can give. Yet sometimes they don't get recognized for where it's coming from. And to me, I think that's wrong. That's just my opinion, but I'm up here, so I can say that. So, and the whole thing about sharing is like, I listened to something that Steve had forwarded me this week, which kind of helped generate my talk. It was a speech that Emmett Fox had given, I think it was like 1939, at the Unity headquarters. And it was very interesting because I thought about it, and I listened to it twice. It was only 20 minutes long, so I could spare 40 minutes out of my day to do that. And it was like, life is consciousness. And the idea that, okay, we can sit and do our spiritual practice every day, we can do our reading, we can do our meditation, our journaling, all this yada yada stuff. But if we don't go out and practice throughout the day, that's not developing the consciousness you want to have. Like living in this, we do live in an abundant universe. I mean, it's amazing what we have, or what a lot of people have, and some not so much. But in order to realize and to have this abundance in our lives, and so we have to have that abundant consciousness. We can't just hold that abundant consciousness for half an hour, like in meditation and stuff. We need to practice that all day long in everything that we do, and hold that consciousness. And it was really a kind of eye-opening thing, because I think, it makes perfect sense. But you think just because you sit and do your meditation and all your other spiritual practices that then it's done. That's just like, you know, when we do treatments, you know. The thing is, treat and move your feet. You need to do something, and that's like, when I was in AA, when I was, you know, going, actually I was in Al-Anon at the time, and I was whining about something. And, not me, whine, never. And somebody said, and they said it was very, you know, very lovingly, very, very kind, that you have to do something, you know, you can't just do this, but you have to take steps. If you want a job, you're going to have to fill out an application. You're probably going to have an interview. If you want food, well, you might have to go to the store, although they do deliver a lot of food nowadays, but you're going to have to order. You have to take steps in your life to accomplish things you want, you need. Really, breathing, you really don't have to do a lot to breathe. You do have to sustain your body to eat and drink so that, you know, your heart's going to stay there and breathe. But other than that, it's like, but to have that consciousness, that consciousness of abundance. Because so many times I have to speak for myself, I focus on it, and then I slip back. You know, you go 2 steps forward and maybe 3 steps back sometimes, or maybe more. And because I look back when I was a kid, and I think that's, I mean, so many things come from when we are little. And I was talking to somebody, I said, I think even sometimes when we're still in the mother's womb, things, you know, have triggered, things have caused us to have these beliefs and these feelings. Like growing up on the wrong side of the track, never having money, never having an abundance of money. And, I mean, that can set your way of thinking for your whole life. I mean, yes, we can change, we have the choice to change that, but that takes effort to do that. And I've seen a lot of people, like my brother, for instance, my youngest brother. He took, and he's doing very well. He's done very well because with his high school graduation money he got, he invested it. But he started there. He wanted something better. And the one time I was talking to his wife, and she said, oh, he was and he did travel a lot for work. And she said, well, he wants his kids to have things that he didn't have. I said, yeah, but they also want a father. I mean, that is an important thing too, because you can be gone all night, give all the you know, possessions and stuff, but if you're not there present sometimes, I mean, you're missing that. And I know from whence I speak, because I never got to know my dad, and it's something that I've always missed and I always will miss, because there's that little hole there. But the idea of this abundance and this consciousness, and we can focus on anything, you know, it doesn't have to be it's not just abundance, but anything in our life, whatever we set our consciousness to, because we are co-creators, like Reverend Pamela said last week. We are co-creators. And there's thing is, there's 3 generous. It's how these 3 ways they see the world differently about giving generously. And one is they recognize the resource pie is not finite. And that is, so many times we feel that, okay, if I get all this good, I get all this money, job, spouse, all this good stuff, then somebody else, you might not get yours. That there isn't enough to go around. And that, of course, is not true. But sometimes we hold on to that because we feel guilty. It's like a lot of times soldiers, when they're fighting, or it could be anywhere, but when they're fighting and one of their comrades is killed, they have, you know, survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with this. It's like, I have too much, or I have, you know, well, what can we do about it? We can give, we can do, I mean, we don't have to give till we bleed. We don't have to give everything away. And the other part is that about believing that you can change one life at a time. I always thought that when you to do something really remarkable in the world, you have to do something really huge, really huge. That reminds me of somebody. I slap myself for that, but it's not true. To me, it is a lot of times it's the little things. The little things that we can do every day for someone, even ourselves, because we have to remember, we have to take care of ourselves also. And we know that one person isn't going to fix the world. One person isn't going to fix the poverty. It takes, that old saying, a village. And it does take a village. It takes a village, it takes a community, it takes a universe. But if we could all just do a little somewhere along that line. And I know there was that story about the guy on the beach with the starfish, throwing the starfish, and the older gentleman says, well, the tide's coming in, you're going to get, you can't get them all in. And he says, there's miles and miles of beach and all these starfish. He says, it's not going to make a difference. And he said, it made a difference to that one that he just threw back in the water. So if we can do one person at a time, one thing at a time. And the other part is that studies have shown that generous people already know that giving increases happiness, fulfillment, and purpose in life. Because sometimes, if I've done it, and I was telling one, was it last week or the week before? Anyway, I'm standing in line, and there's this woman in front of me, and she needed like $1 or something. And she said, told the checker to put it back. I said, no, here. So I gave her $2, and you know what? It was just something I didn't think about. It was something I wanted to do, and I didn't expect anything out of it. But because I read things about people doing, like saying they're in a espresso line in a car, and they pull up, and the person in front of them is paid for their whatever they're getting. And I go, wow, that's kind of cool. I never had that happen to me. But if I want to experience something, I need to, because it is a reciprocal universe. And so I did that, and it just made me feel good. It's just something that, okay, that person maybe really needed that item. I don't even remember what it was. I didn't care. However, just to do something like that once in a while is, it's, and in turn, someday maybe she will be able to do something for someone else. And if we could do this in the world, sometimes I feel like I get in a soapbox, because this is one of my main themes, is we could just be a little kinder, a little gentler, a little friendlier. Earnest Holmes about the abundance in the universe, this is from Science of Mind. In a demonstration of abundance, we seek to realize the liberty of the sons of God, the freedom whereby God proves its absoluteness. This is done not by meditation upon limitation, but by contemplating plenty, abundance, success, prosperity, and happiness. And again, that's where we focus on the positive, not the negative. And there's someone in this room that would attest to that. I a lot of times I will focus on the negative. Maybe not focus it, but verbalize it. And verbalize is a part of focusing. If you verbalize things enough, what's going to happen? It's going to come true. And that's like with anything. The more we focus on it, the more it's going to happen. And the idea, so many times we think that God is here and not there. Where was God in this incident? And I have to question that too in a lot of cases where tragedies happen. But God is there. I don't know the reason why things happen. But I know they happen. I mean, you see it all the time. And the answer that some people ask, well, why? You know, I prayed, and my prayers aren't answered, but you prayed over here, and poof, your prayers are answered. They are answered. And sometimes, Garth Brooks did this song years ago about unanswered prayers. And sometimes the unanswering is the answer. Because what we're asking for may not be the best for us. That's why when we pray or we do treatment and stuff, we say that, you know, this or something better. Because the divine knows a heck of a lot better for me what is good for me than I do. Like, I may want a big pizza, a big greasy, cheesy, meaty pizza, and, you know, that's not so good for me. A nice salad. But it's got to be tasty, you know. But it's just, we laugh about things like that, but it's true. Sometimes we think and we want, and sometimes we aim too low. We aim way too low, because we deserve the best. You know, it doesn't take any more to ask for, you know, to realize an abundance of, say, some people say, oh, if I only had $1 million. Why only $1 million? You know, $1 million nowadays isn't that much anymore.
No.
If you think about it, aim for, and you can always give it away. I mean, that's the whole thing. You can always do good with it if you choose to. I mean, hopefully if I got it, I would choose to do good with it. I like to believe that I would. But you never know until you get to that point. What, you know, you could become one of those hoarders, you know, or mine, you know. I really hope I wouldn't be that way. So the generously giving, generously sharing. I like the word sharing better than giving, because it's like you're taking something part of you and sharing that with someone else. Like when Ron got his transplant from his sister, and Stephanie did her mother. They shared part of their life with them. Which I think is one of the ultimate gifts of giving generously, sharing generously. Because you're giving part of you, physically part of you, to someone else so that they may have life, that they may live, and have a higher quality of life. And that's like feeding the people over there. You know, you can only do so much. Sometimes we want to do so much more. But if we just start off doing what we can, sharing what we can, sharing the resources. And the resources like to the environment also, not just to human beings, but to the environment, taking care of it. To me, that's generously sharing, because that's going on in the future for the children, the grandchildren, the generations to come. I don't know how many generations it would take just to, you know, have everything wiped out the way certain things that we do to not take care, to destroy the environment around us. So beauty, nature, and art. I always get confused with the aesthetics thing, you know. I looked it up and I'm still not 100% sure exactly what, but that's me. But the beauty and the nature and the art, I mean, the beauty's around us, it's in the nature and the art. And we're part of that. The beauty is in each person in this room, because each person is, you know, that expression of the divine. And beauty is a God quality. in my opinion. So the 3 steps, 3 points that I really wanted to go over were about the ways generous people see the world and how they see it differently. And that was, that there isn't enough. If I get mine, you're not going to get yours, which is not true, because there is plenty around. We just need to focus and to create within ourselves our own abundant consciousness, our own consciousness of life. And to know that by giving, by sharing, that it increases in our fulfillment. I remember one thing in life that I want this sense of fulfillment. I can't explain it. Because I think when you feel it, then you know it, but it's hard, because each person is different. Each part of being fulfilled in this life is different for each person. It all depends on what your priorities are. And then about changing one life at a time. That it is worthwhile. That even though one person cannot save the whole world, one person cannot save a community, but we can assist in helping a person maybe have a little bit better time in this moment. So what is a small thing you can change this week? Just a little movement is all that's needed to bring a shift in your life. Not just for others, but for yourself, for your spouses, for your children, for your pets. They're little living creatures too. Sometimes very annoying little creatures. But we take them on, we take responsibility for them. So it's our responsibility to generously share with those little creatures also. So if you just think about it, one little thing that you could do this week for yourself, for someone else, or for both. And of course, you got your little affirmation slip somewhere there. They've included these affirmations, and some of them I really like, and other ones, they're okay. But I like this one. I did like this one because it's a good one that you could actually take with you. You could post it in your car, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your bathroom mirror, your nightstand. But it's a real thing. So I would ask you just to read it out loud with myself. Read it maybe 3 times, because 3 times is a good way to cement it in.
3rd time is the charm.
Yeah, it's a charm, yes. Okay, charming people.
I
am abundantly thriving. I reflect this truth by generously and continuously sharing my time, treasure, and talent with my center, my local community, and the world. I am abundantly thriving. I reflect this truth by generously and continuously sharing my time, treasure, and talent with my center, my local community, and the world. And at the end of this next one, I want to say it with myself.
Yes.
I am abundantly thriving. I reflect this truth by generously and continuously sharing my time, treasure, and talent with myself, my local community, my world, and myself. And so it is.